Bashir. First of all, we would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We are delighted to have you all here today to share with us the celebration of the 43rd anniversary of the Egyptian Armed Forces Day. We would like to start our celebration with the national anthem of the United States of America, followed by the national anthem of Arab Republic of Egypt.
My sincere honor to welcome all of you to the Embassy of Egypt this evening to celebrate the Egyptian Armed Forces Day, which commemorates the 43rd anniversary of the 6th of October War. On that day, in 1973, the Egyptian Army crossed the Suez Canal to successfully restore the Sinai Peninsula to Egypt and confer the will of the Egyptians. This great victory paved the way for peace between Egypt and Israel through the signing of Camp David Accords, and also provided the foundation for enduring relationship between the Egyptian people and their armed force. Today, we pay tribute to the soldiers and the generation of the 6th of October victory, and we honor the brave men and women who carry on their legacy by protecting our nation from modern terror threats. From Sinai to Libya and Syria to Yemen, Egypt's military and security apparatus are tirelessly working to detect, defeat, and counter any and all threats of our homeland. No one bears this responsibility more proudly or understands this sacrifice more clearly than our own defense attaché, Major General Khalid Begawer, who I am honored to introduce as our next speaker. Thank you very much for coming.
Good evening, everyone. Before I begin my remarks, and as a soldier, I would like first to extreme my deepest respect for every soldier around the world, for every soldier standing in his combat position, defending us right now, fighting terrorism in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Sinai. To every mother and father, to every son and daughter, to every wife and husband of a soldier who gave his life to this world. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. On behalf of the Egyptian Defense Office in DC, I would like to thank you all sharing with us this very special event, the 43rd anniversary of the Egyptian Armed Forces Day. Conveying to you the greetings of General Silky Sohi, Minister of Defense and General Commander of the Egyptian Armed Forces, and General Igazi, the Chief of Staff. When we talk about the Victory Day, the 6th of October, 1973, we have to study carefully our history, to learn, to evaluate our existing reality, and look to our future. Let's talk about facts and lessons learned from the Egyptian soldiers' perspective. I have three facts to share with you this night. The first fact number one, the value of the Egyptian soldier. The Egyptian soldier freed his country in 1952. Then in 1973, the Egyptian soldier changed the history of the Middle East by turning the war case to a full peace situation. The same Egyptian soldier remained the keystone of his nation by defending his people during two revolutions, one after another, in 2011 and 2013. Never turned his weapon to his own people, while other nations were falling apart. Recently, defending his country in Sinai by himself, not under a coalition. Beyond that, and regardless all the challenges that Egypt is facing right now, sharing other coalitions in efforts of fighting terrorism in Yemen, Iraq, the extension of the Red Sea, and far from that, defending all the Egyptian borders in all directions, including 1,200 kilometers of Egyptian borders with Libya. In addition to all of these missions, the Egyptian soldier, again, has made a decisive achievement to the Egyptian society. The value of the Egyptian soldier. Fact number two, war is an endless road. You may enforce to fight, but this will not last forever. This is exactly what happened in 1973. We got our land back by peace through a deadly war. Today, we are not celebrating our killings. We are celebrating what we achieved from peace. This fact leads me to conclude two important lessons. The first lesson is a question to everyone. What if we still in war with the others in the area? In addition to that, what's going on in Northern Sinai? How the Middle East looks like without the peace treaty? And what if the others copied Egypt from the first beginning back in 1979? The second lesson learned is an existing situation. We were again enforced to fight. But this time, fighting terrorism in Sinai, the history is repeating itself in a different model and a different shape. After a while, we found out that fighting terrorism is not only tanks and F-16s. It is a whole strategy, and the core of it is economy. Recently, the Egyptian soldier again has made up to 7,164 different civil development projects and 63,104 other projects under construction. building the new Suez Canal in 1 year. All of this great work under difficult circumstances of security and economy. Let us not forget that fact number 2, war is an endless war. The last fact is fact number 3. Victory means willing of cooperation. Back again to 1973, without real willing of cooperation between all fighting parties, nothing could have been achieved. We forgot all our losses and looked to our future, to better future. From that point, you can easily tell why the Egyptians are very stuck firmly to the peace and trying to extend that model to the rest of the Middle East. The lesson learned from this fact is imposing itself right now to the whole world. No doubt that we will never ever defeat ISIS unless we have a complete will of international cooperation. My experience as an Egyptian soldier ran into 2 different types of wars. One of them was liberating Kuwait in 1991. The other one was fighting terrorism in Sinai as a commander almost a year ago. Fighting terrorism is more difficult and complicated than running state-to-state war. It needs lots of cooperation and coordination among different nations. Finally, I would like to conclude my thoughts as the following. The conclusion from fact 1, the value of the Egyptian soldier. I would say the capability of the soldier is his faith, is what he believes. It is more important than the capability of the weapon that he is carrying. Great nation is a great soldier. The conclusion of fact number 2, war is an endless road. Fighting terrorism is a smart strategy, depending on containing the brains of the people, not killing them. Conclusion of fact number 3, victory means real willing of cooperation. We have to change our domestics and international law and rules to fit with fighting this ISIS cancer thing and to create real international cooperation. Together, we will never lose. By the end of my words, I would like to thank you all giving me the opportunity to express a typical Egyptian soldier thoughts and share my facts and lessons learned from the Egyptian military history and from the Victory Day. Thank you very much and enjoy the event.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Your Excellency, Ambassador, thank you. Dr. Das, Your Excellency, thank you very much. General Gower, so many distinguished guests, flag officers, general officers, ladies and gentlemen. I am really, truly honored to be here tonight to celebrate the 43rd anniversary of the Egyptian Armed Forces. I feel like when I'm ever here in this building with all of you, I am among friends. And I have spent an important part of my life living in Egypt and meeting the people there, and it's made an impression on me for ever since I have been there. General Sami Anan once told me, if you spend 6 months in Egypt, you become a little bit Egyptian. And I think that's true for me and for my family. First, my warmest congratulations to my friends, to my Egyptian military colleagues. I saw firsthand with my own eyes and with my family the warmth and respect the Egyptian military gets from the people of Egypt. And as you mentioned in your remarks, Khalid, I think I was fortunate enough to be in Egypt right after the revolution, and the protectors of the people were the Egyptian army. And I think that all of us love to be loved by our people, our societies, from who and where we fight. But it was truly obvious to me to see the love of the people for the Egyptian military. And I know that as the Egyptian military, as the Egyptian military continues to modernize and professionalize its force, it's going to remain the protector of the people of Egypt. What I think one of the things that we value most is it's the relationship that we have. It's this trust that we have. And I, again, on behalf of the United States, I want to thank the people of Egypt and the Egyptian military for the help and for all the cooperation that we get over the many years since we began to partner 43 years ago. I think it should go unsaid, the support that you have given the United States military and the coalition forces in this current fight on ISIS and in our troubles and fights in the Middle East over the last 15 years, the overflights of Egypt, the passage in the Suez Canal, the friendship, the support in general. For that, Mr. Ambassador and my Egyptian friends in the United States is grateful. I think many of you know I was fortunate enough to be the U.S. Defense Attaché in Cairo in 2011, and I saw firsthand the value of this relationship. And I value the friendship and the trust and the respect that we have military to military as much as anything. And I have many good friends still today in the Egyptian military who I still remain in contact with. Last New Year's Eve, I was driving in Washington D.C. and my phone rings, and it's Admiral Abdelaziz, who calls me up just to say hello, and he wanted to tell me that he was celebrating the new year and wanted to speak to me, and I'm really glad about that. So as I mentioned, for my wife Sally and I and my young daughter Katie, who were fortunate enough to live in Egypt, we think about it often. We think about the rich history, the rich culture. There aren't many things in Egypt that are 43 years old. I remember. I was there and I had a book on my desk in my office in the embassy, and it was the 5,000-year history of the Egyptian military. And on that particular day, I was celebrating the 64th anniversary of the United States Air Force. And my friends in the Egyptian military were chiding me about how young the United States Air Force was in the 5,000-year history of the Egyptian people. As the Chief of the National Guard, it is important to me, and we mentioned a little bit, many of the National Guard soldiers have been serving in Egypt for the last 15 years in the Sinai as part of the multinational force and observer mission there. It's a fantastic mission. It's been a very successful mission to help keep and maintain the treaty of peace between two great countries. And it's been more than 14,000 National Guard soldiers have served in the Sinai over the past 15 years. And they have gone there and they have not only helped to maintain the treaty of peace, but they have made friends, and they have learned about the culture, and they've learned about the history of the great region, and they have brought it home, and they have told their families and have a much greater understanding of a very important part of the world, and for that I'm thankful. So I would like to close by just saying that I think the relationship between the United States and the Egyptian military is a very important relationship, and I look that in the future, as we talk about the challenges that we have with violent extremism and fighting terrorism around the world, this is a challenge that's not going to end anytime soon. And what's going to make it work and what's going to make us be successful in the long term is leaders and friends and trust and partnerships and continued pursuit of what is good for the people of our nations. And I think that it's been going on now many years, and I fear it may go on many more, but one thing is certain is that this relationship between the United States and Egypt is going to be critical for us in continuing the fight against terrorism. Thank you for having me here tonight.